Now to a topic getting a lot of attention this week, are kids and their safety online. Dr. Michael Rich wrote the book, The Pediatrician's Guide, a joyful approach to raising healthy, smart, kind kids in a screen-saturated world. And Dr. Rich is joining us right now. Good morning to you. It's great to have you. We were just talking. I'm like right in the zone right now with my kids. Social media obviously getting so much attention right now. We saw the CEOs getting grilled on Capitol Hill. We see states like Florida talking about putting limitations on it. But you say calling social media a toxin or toxic is not necessarily the best approach. Why is that?
Well, first of all, because it's not true, kids will see through that in a second. And you lose them when they don't interact with you, when they don't hear you. It is not a toxin, but we can get toxic on it. It's our behavior with social media and online in a variety of forms that gets us in trouble. So I think pointing at something else and saying that's the problem is a cop-out from us, right? That did it to me rather than it's what I did with it.
Oh, interesting. Another thing that we've been reporting on a lot here, talking about skincare routines with tweens. And I have an 11-year-old in middle school right now, and I can attest to the fact that like kids are talking about this. They're going to sleepovers and trying to do facial masks and things like that. And I'm like, you're 11 years old. Where did this come from? But what advice do you have for parents?
First of all, to use the time that they're online as a teaching moment for them, and question it. Teach them to question what they're seeing, what they're hearing, what they're believing. And people ask me, when should you start media literacy with a kid? When they start using media. So even with your toddlers that you're sharing an iPad with, talk about it. Help them understand what it is and what it is not, and keep a dialogue going, because now kids live in the digital environment more time than they live in the physical environment, and we've got to parent them there.
Speaking of that time, what about screen time? There's a whole conversation. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Does it even work? What's your advice?
I think the idea of screen time limits is obsolete. We live in a world where we move seamlessly between screen space and physical space, and particularly kids do. So if we can't even measure screen time, I study this stuff and I couldn't tell you how much screen time I had yesterday because of the way we use it now. So what we're really focusing on is non-screen time. Have a minimal non-screen time where you are at the dinner table actually talking to each other, getting enough sleep, doing your homework.
Exercise, playing outside.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. And so I think we have to change the paradigm, because parents feel horribly guilty about exceeding screen time limits that don't work anyway.
I love that idea, flipping it to the non-screen time. Okay, I want to ask you about this directly, because you offer a 3M approach when it comes to kids. This is about media, model, mentor, and monitor.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, model, the first M, is be the change you want to see in your kids. Don't be staring at your smartphone at that all-important email while you're saying, turn off Call of Duty, right? To them, that's a height of hypocrisy. They hear 1% of what we say and 100% of what we do. So be the change you want to see. Mentor is sitting down with them when they need a device or application or platform, and when they can handle it responsibly and with respect for themselves and others, and learn with them, because they will know the technical stuff way better than you do. But you can bring in the executive functions of impulse control, future thinking, et cetera. And finally, monitor. And this is the one that parents and kids push back on the most, because parents say, I don't have the time to follow my kid in the digital space.
Yes.
And the kid's saying, I want my privacy. But the reality is, to a 13-year-old, privacy means so mom and dad can't see. They're not thinking about the rest of the world out there. And so I think it's really important not to monitor them all the time, but to be able to monitor them. Their behavior will change.
We're going to have to leave it there. We are out of time. I could talk about it all day. Thank you so much for coming in. This is incredibly helpful. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah. Make sure you take one home.
I will. Thank you. The Pediatrician's Guide is available on Tuesday.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.